Next question. Dryland farming has enormous significance. Comment. In this question, it is asking you your opinion. So we have to give our opinion. Does it really have the enormous significance? We have to provide this answer from that perspective. How it is significant or how it is not significant, or this is significant but there are certain challenges. That's how we have to address this answer. It is asking us opinion. Comment means. So before commenting something on the dryland farming, we have to talk what is actually the dryland farming. Due to the cropping pattern and number of people dependent on the dryland farming, coupled with challenges it faces, dryland farming becomes highly significant, especially in Andhra Pradesh, where more than 50% of the district falls under the dryland farming. I have set the context why this dryland farming is significant. So I am conveying that this is really significant because more than 50% of the districts are falling under the dryland. Number of people are dependent on the dryland. So in the introduction itself, I have conveyed very clearly dryland farming or this kind of cropping pattern that is practiced in the dryland farming is very significant. That is, such kind of communication is very important in questions like comment. Most of the times I see people just writing positives and negatives for every question, this side and that side. They do not know what actually the question is asking or demanding for. That way it will not help you. So comment means it is asking you your opinion. So you have to give your opinion. Now people are also confused. What is this dryland farming? People are aware of the rain-fed farming. Now rain-fed farming means those areas of agriculture beds where there is no irrigation facilities, only dependent on the monsoon. So that is called the rain-fed farming. Now those areas of the rain-fed farming where rainfall is less than 75 centimeters, that is called the dryland farming, and this is very important. This is the semi-arid zone I was talking about. 60% of the India falls under the semi-arid zone, which is basically dryland region. So this is very highly significant. More than 60% of the people are dependent on this dryland farming, and this has also very good potential. Currently this dryland farming zone is also zone of poverty, hunger, malnourishment, drought prone areas, good number of women population or population that are vulnerable like say SC, ST. Such sections are present in these dryland zones. So that is very significant. If we have around 160 million hectares of the arable land, out of this only 45% is available on the irrigation. Rest of the area is available for the cultivation only through rains, monsoons. That is called the rain-fed farming. Now in those areas where the rainfall is less than 75 centimeters, that is called as a dryland farming. What is the significance of it? So dryland occupies, let me show you the diagram first. So this is the dryland zone. All these are the most probable areas that come under the dryland area. If you can see, such a big percentage, huge chunk of India, it is falling under the dryland zone. So that shows potential there itself. I always suggest diagram should come forward. Okay, while you are writing in the exam, try to bring the diagram always in the beginning. That will convey examiner many things. If it is at the end, it might not convey many things. It occupies 68% of the India's cultivated area and support 40% of the human population, 60% of the livestock population. We have seen already the importance of livestock. They can provide alternative livelihood, they can provide insurance, they can provide higher returns to the farmers, they can provide doubling of the farmers' income, revenues can be increased. We have seen this thing already. Nutritional security. Most of the times these livestock like say poultry or sheep rearing, all these things are generally taken care by backward sections, so-called backward sections, and also by the women sections. So this thing, focus on this dryland farming can help in protection of these vulnerable sections. It produces. Now if you observe, this is a semi-arid region, and this semi-arid region has particular cropping pattern. This semi-arid region is also helpful, suitable in growing pulses, oil seeds and the coarse cereals. Now, I have already told you we import huge amount of pulses. India is a country mostly vegetarian. You might think, "Arey sir, we are non-vegetarian." No, generally most of the diet pattern of the people living outside India, it is they have non-veg in every meal. In India, it is not the case still. India, the consumption of the non-veg is less compared to the other developed nations. So India is primarily vegetarian society. You might be consuming non-vegetarian, but consuming non-veg in every meal, it is relatively low in India. So that's the reason, in order to get the protein requirement, pulses become very important. The good source of protein, dal. So this dry land is suitable for growing of pulses. Pulses, oil seeds and coarse cereals do not need good amount of rainfall. They can grow in the semi-arid conditions. We are already importing huge amount of pulses and oil seeds from the outside nations. Why to import? Use this dry land areas. Give the MSP to them. This can decrease the current account deficit. This can increase the incomes of these regions, and also they do not need much amount of water. And pulses production can also increase the quality of the soil. When these crops die, they add nutrition to the soil. I call it as a leguminous crops. So they can help in increasing the quality of the soil. That's a very good win-win situation, right? If we also cultivate bajra, jawar, ragi, coarse cereals, this also aids in the nutritional security. These coarse cereals have lower glycemic index. Remember, for prelims, it is very important point. Glycemic index is low. This will not increase your insulin levels after consumption of coarse cereals. And they also have essential macro and micro nutrients. So that's the significance of this dryland area. It produces 44% of the food requirement and thus has and will continue to play a critical role in India's food security. The contribution of rain-fed agriculture in India is about 42% of the total food grain, 75% of the oil seeds, 90% of the pulses and about 70% of the cotton comes from this area of rain-fed. See how significant this is. And mind you, AP Economic Survey mentions about the rain-fed farming, about the rain-fed agriculture. That's the reason for me for picking up this question. You have a syllabus of disaster management where droughts can be asked. The droughts, these dryland areas are highly significant for droughts. Currently with the weather events, there is a prediction there can be El Nino this year and there can be drought in India. So these are the areas that are drought prone, and you have in the syllabus dryland area management. So this can be asked in the economy paper or geography paper. I have seen the APPSC syllabus where geography and economy syllabus are overlapping with each other. This topic has relevance in multiple areas. So very important for you to understand this concept. Prepare well. By the end of 20th century, the contribution of drylands will have to be 60% if India is to provide adequate food to 1000 million people. Hence, tremendous efforts both in development and research funds are essential to achieve this target. See how much important it is. We need a lot of research to make effective utilization of these drylands. More than 90% of the area under sorghum, groundnut and pulses is rain-fed. In case of maize and chickpea, 80 to 85%. So all the facts I have given here. Remember few facts that you can take to the exam. I have tried to given the facts so that you can read them, revise them and use them in the exam accordingly. The productivity of grains already showed a plateau. Therefore, challenges of the present millennium world would be to produce more from the drylands. In the other areas, production has been stagnated. So the production in this dryland should be increased. For this, new R&D is required. New strategies need to be evolved. Now, that's what I mentioned. Horticulture, agroforestry, social forestry, all this can be done in the dryland area. I have not mentioned here They can also play a role in the nutritional security. You have to mention those things: nutritional security, doubling of the farmers' income, women empowerment, protection of the vulnerable sections, reduction of the current account deficit. So all these points I want you to mention there. Then challenges. Challenges is these drylands, they do not have any input, they do not have any technology, they are more prone to the droughts. Since these are the regions of the vulnerable sections, their awareness is low, market availability is low to them, so they cannot work under the controlled environmental conditions. I was talking about growth of horticulture in Andhra Pradesh, where Andhra Pradesh was providing them micro irrigation, that means controlled environment. In such cases, horticulture will grow very well, but such conditions are not available to them. So all these are the challenge: unequal distribution of the rainfall, late onset and early cessation of rainfall, prolonged dry spells, low moisture retention capacity, low fertility of the soils. All these things, like say market constraints, all these things you have to mention here. I want to add one more concept to here. See here, these drylands, these drought prone areas or rain-fed areas use one important strategy, that is called watershed development plan. Watershed development program is currently subsumed under the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, and this is also a previous question asked by the UPSC. And this is scheme which you have to definitely know. You cannot dissect your preparation. So watershed is different and watershed development program is different. This watershed program has to be mentioned in the conclusion of your drought prone areas or dryland area development or rain-fed farmings. So for you it is very important to understand what are these watersheds. Watershed is different, watershed development is different. Let me explain you what is watershed. Watershed means those areas from where river is receiving its water. All those comes under the watershed. Now let's say this is the main river. This main river is receiving water from this tributary river. So this is considered as a watershed. So this is considered as a watershed, and whole this area can be considered as a watershed. This is same as a drainage basin. Drainage basin means all those geological and hydrological unit which has drainage, and also those bank regions can be considered as a drainage basin. So let's say your Godavari, Krishna drainage basin, from source till destination, including all those tributaries and land that is covered by this area, is considered as a drainage basin. Drainage basin does not offer us flexibility. Now let's assume this is a Krishna river, and Krishna river is joined by the Tungabhadra and other rivers. So individual tributaries can also be considered as a drainage basin under the concept of the watershed. Both are same. So this is the concept of the watershed and drainage basin. Now this is not watershed development program. Watershed development program is a program under the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. This is used in the dryland areas, generally where the water availability is less. Where there is a dryland, this program is used. This program has three very important components: land use management, hydrological management, biological management. What is hydrological management? Already this area has less amount of moisture. So this talk about recharging of aquifers, groundwater recharge, water conservation, water harvesting, water storages, all these hydrological components, reduction of water pollution comes under this hydrological management. Land use management. Land use management means proper planning of land. That means drylands is given for, wastelands are given for the urban developments, or for the pasture, or for the fodder development, or for the horticulture, while fertile lands are kept for agriculture production. So proper land use policy, along with this conservation of soil by checking soil erosion, ensuring soil has proper nutrition in that. All this comes under how will you ensure that thing? We have seen some of the components under the zero budget natural farming, by covering of soil through crop residue, or through growing pulses which can add nutrition to the soil when they die, or giving space to the soil by not cultivating anything so that soil replenishes by themselves naturally or using organic fertilizers, all the natural methods that can enrich the quality of the soil. Not necessarily natural, we are not talking about only natural methods. All those methods which can enrich the soil. That is a land use management, hydrological management. Biological management means talks about afforestation, social forestry, development of the fish ponds, development of this animal husbandry, provision of the food security, skill development to the human so that he develop the alternative source of livelihood. So all this comes under the watershed development. Already UPSC has asked this question, and this can also be independent question. That is very important concept to know. Now this is subsumed under the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, which I mentioned as a conclusion. Main objectives of the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana are to restore the ecological balance by harnessing, conserving and developing degraded natural resources. Ensuring proper development of dryland will help. This should be reframed. It should not be written in this way. Probably we can say the challenges, the issues of the dryland farming are addressed through watershed development component of the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. Okay, this go on. Okay, this should come here with the objective to restore the ecological balance by conserving and developing the degrading natural resources such as soil, vegetative cover and water. Ensuring proper development of the dryland will help the integrated rural development and removal of the poverty in the rural areas. I have used this line from the syllabus book itself. They have given in the syllabus book about the integrated rural development. So this is also one of the way to bring the conclusions by picking up the lines from the syllabus book itself. I hope things are clear. Thank you.